Welcome to this week's Masters in Motion podcast. I'm Jason Grubb with Rick Stevenson. Rick, we're getting very close to our 100th episode.
Yes.
It's somewhere in this mix. I never know exactly where we're at until I create the cover for this episode, but man, we're getting close. And what a fun episode we have tonight. I think primarily semifinals talk, wouldn't you say?
Correct. I would say so, because what else is going on in the CrossFit space? Yeah, besides the sale and the World Fitness Project. And we just completed the Mayhem Classic, which was good viewing for the little that I saw. But that's always good to watch. And individuals are prepping for online, but here in the master space, it was Semifinals Weekend.
This episode is powered by Thirdzy, your go-to for game-changing sleep recovery. Imagine hitting your workouts harder and waking up feeling unstoppable. That's what Thirdzy's PM Recovery Collagen does for me. It's like pre-workout, but for your sleep, fueling your body's active recovery processes without any melatonin or sedatives. Just one scoop before bed supports deeper, more restorative sleep so you can crush your fitness goals. Ready to experience the best rest and recovery? Visit Thirdzy.com and transform your nights into recovery power hours. Thirdzy, because sleep is the ultimate recovery tool. That's THIRDZY.com. Save 20% with code JASONZZZ. Let's get into the show.
Such a huge weekend. A week ago, the workouts came out, and we had an opportunity to sort of go through them, get an understanding of what they're going to look like, or what our week's going to look like. Start to strategize on the order of the workouts, and then Thursday, at promptly the right time, CrossFit sent out the password, and we were off to the races.
Right.
You traveled.
I traveled, and I'll definitely share that experience. But you and I were in the same time zone for a change, so it was 2:00, and I believe the password came out just a few minutes earlier. I received an email shortly before 2, and then one of our one of the ladies I was with, she's like, "I didn't get an email," and then not until the next day did the email show up.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, we're like, what distribution list were you on? I mean, that's kind of worrisome, and once again, we'll also talk about the IT part of the CrossFit space when we get there. But
our order, our agenda today, for those that are listening. So we certainly want to talk about our experience of the weekend, which was I think a very positive weekend. We'll talk about the workouts. We'll talk about our experience with the workouts, and then we will talk about the video review process, which is where we're at now in this time frame, right? We're in the video review process, and 2 days into video review, I think we're starting to get some feedback from the community, feedback from athletes. We're starting to see what's going on with our own videos, and lots of opinions, lots of thoughts and feelings flying around. We'll go over all of those. In fact, I will preface this saying that the age group athlete council members, or the team of us, have requested a call with CrossFit HQ to share as quickly as we can some of the concerns from the community. So we'll get to those. But before we do,
that's great, Rick, that you guys.
First of all,
it's great that you guys can even ask them for that, and we'll see about the response time. But that's what I'm assuming that's what the committee is there for. You all are a voice to that. And I'm not knowing exactly all the members. I shouldn't have them all memorized, but I know quite a few of you are in qualifying positions. So it's of utmost importance specifically to you, but more so for the community.
Yeah, very much so. Very much for all the athletes. We've got hundreds of athletes in qualifying spots at this point, and dozens of people on the fringe of qualifying.
Yes.
And obviously, all we all want is a fair system. That's all. So we'll get to that. Workout wise, Rick, we had 5 tests. Why don't we talk about the tests? Because those that did the tests, it's fun to reminisce and think back on them. And those that didn't do the tests, they may not know what the workouts were. And we sort of, talk about our experience with them. So
you and I last talked the day before they released them. We had our typical
Correct.
let's share Sunday morning breakfast stories and record a
Yep.
quick episode. So I think we were just guessing at that point.
We were.
But yeah, no, I know you had people, athletes to your affiliate, and I traveled over to Chicago. Very welcoming group there, Rally Point CrossFit, and I appreciate them hosting me for their athletes over there. Workout one, do you want to go in order or? Yeah, I mean,
Might as well.
fine by
Yeah,
me.
might as
I
well
mean,
go in order, regardless of the order we did them in. We'll go in the order of the workouts. I think that
that's
makes
fine.
sense.
That's fine. Yes, workout one, 10-minute AMRAP, one clean, one bar muscle up, add one rep each round up until time. The tiebreaker was after the set of fives. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Very easy setup. Not a lot of floor taping. Not too many ways to screw up this video, I don't believe. Your movement quality had to be sharp. And again, I think I've seen some cleans where elbows were not flashed. But face the camera and just go until you can't pick up the bar anymore. And I think that was I think it was well designed. I liked it. It certainly would have been different if they were squat cleans. I know that's been rolling around the community. Would have been different if it were ring muscle ups, but they weren't. So this is what we were given, and this is what we did. It got breathy for me, and it really taxed my grip. I was surprised for just 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I
I didn't like it
enjoyed
at the time, but I like it after the fact.
Yeah, when the workouts came out and we saw this one, I think we were all thinking, okay, heavier power clean.
Yep.
And you know, one of the questions around the entire community was, well, we didn't have any workouts that required a squat. But some people could have squatted on the snatches. Some people could have squatted here. I mean,
Sure.
I guess it was power clean, but it was a clean. So we all did power cleans. It was really grippy. Yeah. That was one of the things that when it was all said and done, my forearms were on fire. My biceps were on fire. My chest was on fire, and my lungs. For me, those two movements are, you know, something I'm very proficient at, and I can just go until I just run into this wall of like, I was into the set of 10 bar muscle ups, and I remember thinking I'll just go 5 and 5 here, and I went 4, and I just, you know, my body, I just dropped. You know, it wasn't like, it almost wasn't a choice. I just dropped at 4, and then looked at the clock. I had 15 seconds. I jumped up. I eked out 4 more, but it was more out of exhaustion. Just overall, it was one of those workouts where I was like, I do not want to retest that. It was way too painful. So
I thought I
found
would like to, but after doing more grip work, which we'll talk about through the rest of them, I realized that probably wasn't going to be the right one to retest. I don't know if I paced the cleans properly. I don't think I ever got tired of doing the bar muscle ups. I was tired, but I mean, they felt good. They felt fine once I got up there. But it was the cleans. I mean, and I like the power clean too. But
and you were not. You know, I found myself in that one moving really fast, really early. You know, in my mind, I had visualized myself through this one a few times with a running clock, and I was way ahead of pace. It just seemed to go really quickly through the set of 5 in, I don't know, 2 minutes and a few seconds. And I remember glancing at the clock there thinking, I may have made a huge mistake. I am way deeper in this workout than I anticipated being at the 3-minute mark. But the round of 6, the round of 7, the round of 8, the round of 9 really became super challenging. So you would just, I mean, for me, I just slowed down as the time dragged on. And then all of a sudden, you're out of time. And thank God. If it was a 12-minute workout, it would just have been awful. 10 minutes was plenty of time for that one.
I just looking, I was just a shade over 3 minutes on my tiebreak time. So you being, much faster, no shock. But you knew you had to pace the beginning or you'd blow up. It didn't matter.
Yes. And I think back, could I have gotten further if I would have paced earlier? And that's a possibility. At the same time, sometimes for me, pacing a workout like that leaves me with not enough time at the end. So one and done on that one felt really good. with the blind leaderboard, uh,
Oh,
you have no idea. I have no idea what the rest of the world is doing.
oh,
I
that's
end up,
tough.
I won that workout, but there was part of me that was like, man, I feel like if I don't get through that 10th set of muscle ups, like I may not win this workout. Not the case. It was fine. It was fine, but it was very taxing. Like there's workouts that like you could repeat and other workouts where it would be hard to improve after all the other work and go back and do this one, which you
Correct.
mentioned
That's
earlier.
what most of my thoughts that this past weekend were. Um, there was just enough time in the schedule for a redo if needed, but you have to put your best foot forward as if you're on the competition floor live and in person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as much as I
Yeah.
dislike online qualifiers and I'd rather compete in person, you can't compete in person unless you get through this stuff. So you have to have that mindset of I get one shot only, where you might still be able to redo if timer goes wrong or this or that. But
Yeah.
the fatigue compounds.
Well, and this brings up an issue that I know you had, and I talked to other athletes where I had a little more control over the schedule because I was the one in charge of the schedule with the athletes we had 13 athletes that came and did quarterfinals or semifinals with us, or including me. We had 13 athletes, so we actually had to recruit some judges from other gyms that had their L1, their all of the requirements necessary to be a judge. So it was a big undertaking, but I created a schedule that had everyone complete all of the workouts by the end of Saturday. And then we left Sunday as a retest day or catch-up day. One of our athletes ended up being sick, so he did 3 of the workouts on Sunday because he was sick.
Oh my
and that
gosh.
thank God we had that buffer day for him. For our other athletes, almost everyone retested something on Sunday, but that was just, I know that you couldn't do that because you didn't have as much control over your schedule. I know other athletes didn't have as much control over their schedule. So this was really very much get it done on the first try, even though I know I had a buffer day, get it done on the first try so that on that buffer day, even though I'm going to be tired, I'm going to be physically drained, emotionally, mentally drained, I can redo a workout for fun if I want to, which I did twice, which we'll get to. We'll get to that. Workout two.
Workout two.
So workout 2 was for men 75 calorie, for women 60 calorie on the rower, and then you had a fairly lightweight for men 135 shoulder to overhead, and then you went back to the rower, same distance, calories, or same calories, then back to a moderate weight dumbbell, 185 for men, and then back to the rower, same amount of calories, and then back to a heavy barbell, 21 light, shoulder to overhead at 135, 15 at 185, 9 at 225. Really fun, very CrossFit rep scheme style workout, right? We combined the monostructural with another heavy weightlifting piece. So the theme that we felt was this was pretty heavy from a weightlifting perspective, with the 185 pound clean, this shoulder to overhead barbell, which got quite heavy, and then the snatch barbell being quite heavy, which was event 5. We'll get to that. So event 2, you've got 20 minutes to get through this. That's the time cap. For me, my strategy on this one was really to be fairly moderate, or to moderate to light on the row, trying to find that pace where on the first round, I'm not overdoing the row, because I don't know about you, but when I first started rowing, I was rowing like a 17, 1800.
Oh God.
And then I was like, whoa. I got to call. I mean, for
Thank
20
goodness.
I've got to calm this down big time. Calmed it down to sub 1300.
Okay.
But the adrenaline dump that you experience can really get to you there, where you're like, you feel so good, but it's not trustworthy. It's a trap. So you got to apply the brakes to start off on that first round, get to the barbell. For me, I started with with push jerks, and they felt slow at 135. So I just ended up doing 21 push press, or I did 5 push jerks and then just went into 21 push press. It was a faster cycle time. Being careful to make sure that I had a clear lockout, but it was much faster for me to just get through that, get back to the rower, and spend the first 10 calories recovering, about 900 to 1,000 pace. then pick it up to 1250 for the next, until I got to 70 calories. And then I would really dial it down to like 900, 800 for those last 5 calories, get that heart rate to calm down a little bit, so that I got off that rower straight to the barbell. For me, I went 15 push jerks at 185. They felt so good. And that was where I was shocked in this workout. For me, the row, it was 2 workouts. It was 2 separate events. The row was almost completely separate from the shoulder to overhead for me. If I was going to, for fun, retest this workout, I would have wanted to see if I could have held a much more aggressive row and still done shoulder to overhead at the same capacity. Because here's my reasoning. I can't breathe on shoulder to overhead anyway, so it doesn't matter. Let me just, if I had a higher heart rate, I'm just going to still just cycle through these shoulder to overhead. Anyway. So, anyway, 15, dropped it back to the rower, same cadence on the rower, recovered for a little bit, pushed it, then recovered for the last 5. And I got to the 9, and they also felt just great, through rep 6. Then rep 7 was tough. Rep 8 was really tough. And every jerk, I was scooching forward just a little bit, close to my 5-foot line.
5-foot line. Yep.
And on my last rep, I knew I needed to split jerk it in order to make it work. And it's something in my head told me that I couldn't reset the bar on my shoulders and take a big step back and then split jerk it. It didn't even occur to me, because I was cycling the bar. So after my 8th bar, I tried to cycle into my 9th. And I was so close to the line, I tried to do a mini split jerk, and it just didn't work. When you're lack of oxygen in the moment, you're not thinking clearly. I just missed the jerk. And so I scooched the barbell back. She was going to have to no rep me anyway, because my foot was across the line. So pulled the barbell back, loosened my belt, took 2 breaths, tightened the belt, clean, easy jerk. And I was annoyed that I missed the last jerk. I almost retested because I missed the last jerk out of pride.
That's capacity right there. What was your time, if you remember, on that?
It was sub 14, like 1340. No, not sub 14. Sub 15 maybe. 1445, 1435.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. That. I was in the middle of a great row right about then. Yeah. And you were done.
I'm just looking the funnest row.
I'm looking at my tie break time. Yeah, there's brother. Yeah. It was a completely different workout just due to capacity for me. I had a feeling that would be damage control.
Sure.
You were looking to push the pace, and you were confident in that. You get into the older age groups and 225 overhead. Sure, there were a lot of guys that finished in had some really good times in our division. But rowing and then that final bar just ate a lot of us up. I got 4 shouldered overheads in that final bar, including a double at the end. After failing one and getting 2 singles, I'm like, where did this double come from? And it actually,
a miracle double, right?
Yeah, miracle double.
Absolute miracle.
Terrible split. Weightlifting gods are cringing as I'm moving through that, but that's, it's CrossFit. I said a couple times, it counts. I got it overhead. I locked it out. It's good. Drop it, collapse. I won't probably retest that for fun, but, you might. It just, I even was mumbling afterwards, like, I've got to find a rowing seminar somewhere. I've just got to get better. I mean, I'm probably average size for a lot of these guys that compete in my age group, and there are gentlemen that are smaller than me that row a hell of a lot more efficiently than I do. So we'll work on that. If boulder programming doesn't help, I'll find something else off the side there. But
we'll look just for you, all the boulder athletes, we're all going to hammer that rower to make sure that there is no issues, period.
I just it was a difficult one. It was not, wait a minute, was it yes, in fact, it was my lowest finish. Not by a ton. I had a pretty tight range of finishes this time, which I'm really surprised at, but it was my lowest. It just, that 225 bar ate me up.
And it, as it should. I mean, that was really the intent. The intent was to everything. Most people's strategy was uh, all built around how are we going to get through the 225 bar, right?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
people would break up, you break up the 21s to save for the 225. You break up the 15s to save everything you got for the 225. And what's interesting is that, uh, for some of us, or a lot of athletes, when you drop a bar, it's not just a jerk. We're not taking this off of the rack. We've got
No,
to clean
you have to
it
clean it back up. Yep.
to then get it overhead. Like it's a
Lot
significant
of
effort. So
energy. Yep.
every drop, every shoulder to overhead drop, in my mind, it costs you two energy nuggets of shoulder to overhead for every clean. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
don't know if
sure.
there's no way to translate that, but you are burning huge, massive amounts of stored energy, or those explosive energy reserves, just to get the bar to your shoulders, and then you got to get it
yes.
overhead.
Oh, believe me, that was racing through my head as I cleaned it up and thought, oh my God, here we go again.
Well,
So,
and that's the feeling that everyone has when you have a miss, right? We had athletes that they'd miss one of the jerks in 225. It was a bar that a lot of people get stuck on, and you as a spectator, you're cheering on your fellow teammates, and you're hoping for the best, and you see a miss happen, and you're just devastated for them.
you're like,
oh, it's the worst.
What it's going to take.
Yep. And you cannot rush it. You watch some people rush it and they clean it too soon. And all these things, you as a competitor, you've done all of the things. And then when you watch someone else experiencing the pain, the drama, the emotions of a heavy barbell, and how it crushes the soul, it's brutal. But that's
your point is because you've done it and you've now known it, or unless you were one of the last ones to test it, then you saw the pain and not knowing exactly how it was going to feel yourself. Like, I'm the last one scheduled to do this now. One other little note on the top of that score sheet was interesting. They forgot to either take it off or they purposely put it on there. That was a main site workout. I saw a little date moniker thing. And sure enough, back in January of 2024, I scrolled back on main site. There it was, plain as day. And I'm like, well, hiding in plain sight. Now, I would expect them to have pulled something that we did like a month ago to see if we were, paying attention or something like that. Nobody's paying attention 15 months ago. But they're not afraid. No. If they're looking for a test like that, I'm sure they had their boxes to check on what over the 5 that they wanted, and they had this one that they could pull from. It was good test. We're only going to see the rower in online competitions right now, unless in the next few years they can standardize an echo bike or down
and that's
ski.
That's one of the reasons why when people ask, what's the most important machine to have at home if you were going to get a machine, it's got to be a rower. Got to be a rower, because it is the one that you're going to. If you want to qualify to something, you've got to master the rower. And there's rowers in in-person competitions all the time. But
sure,
if it's going to be, but we're always going to see it in a qualifier, because it is the standardized machine. It is a way to test that, one way to test that monostructural piece. So workout 1 was a couplet. Workout 2 was a couplet. Workout 3 was a nightmare. We just call it that. I don't think there's any other way to say it. Just absolute nightmare. And I don't know anyone, and of course I haven't talked to everyone, that did not do this workout last, because it's very clear that this workout was going to have a devastating effect on the body. Would you like to take it?
Sure. And I'm still feeling it. We're recording this on Tuesday, and I think my upper body is starting to feel better. Like it's not as tight. And I kept saying that's burpees with intent. That does it to you every time. 20-minute time cap, 3 rounds, 30-foot handstand walk, 30 pull-ups, not chest to bar, but just 30 pull-ups, 30 burpees over a dumbbell, 50 for the men, 35 for the women, and 30 toes to bar. 3 rounds of that. And by them providing us with a 20-minute cap, that signaled something like, here we go, folks. I was last to go on this of the 4 athletes. So I watched The other three blazed through it for the most part. And I was like, oh, I know myself and I'm not afraid to handstand walk, and pull-ups were fine. I don't mind toes to bar, but it was a burpee workout for me. I know I struggled with the
Yep.
same kind of burpees in the open, and that was weighing on my mind a lot. But midway through the second round, when it got a little difficult, it was Sunday morning or almost Sunday midday at this point. I was like, you better just push these thoughts out of your mind and finish this as fast as you can, because you are not going to restart it. You're not going to redo it. And sure enough, I actually, and I texted you this, or I told you this. I actually, my sets got bigger on my last round of toes to bar, which surprised me because I had taken so much damn time on the burpees. I was like, we got to go now. And where frequent smaller breaks at the beginning worked, larger sets, I had the reserves apparently for larger sets at the end. And they're not huge sets, not Jason Grubb sets, but for me, they were larger sets. And I'll tell you, I'm thankful for that. I actually enjoyed that workout now that I look back on it. It hurt like hell, but I enjoyed it.
Man.
And I didn't go as fast as you guys, but I still enjoyed it.
I looked forward to it. One of the things I liked about it is it's not a fast workout. And so when you have fast workouts, or sometimes barbell workouts, if I think of workout 2, you really have to be precise and execute shoulder to overheads. You can have a tactical error and drop a barbell and, really just mess it up.
Right.
With this one, you're just grinding your way through this workout. There's no major tactical errors.
Right.
Unless you kick the dumbbell, which I did.
Right.
I did kick the dumbbell. And my judge, I didn't feel it. It was on my first or second set. I think first set of burpees. I was so focused on making sure that my feet were going directly over the dumbbell, not in front, not behind. My judge was right there. She was relentless and amazing. And I had her judge me after. She had never judged me before, but after her first time judging me, I loved how thorough she was. Yep. And sometimes you're just like, okay, I want that. So she was judging me. She was all over my feet, but she caught me on a no rep. Apparently, I kicked the dumbbell. That is a no rep, and we kept going. She ended up having me do an extra burpee, so I ended up doing 32 total burpees in that first round. So technically, if CrossFit were to review that video, I don't know if you've ever had this in the past. If you do too many reps, CrossFit will often credit you time back.
Yes.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't need that. And she was just being on the safe side. And afterwards, she's like, I'm so sorry I had you do that extra rep. I wanted to make sure we had the right rep count. I was like, I don't even care. Like, we got a great score. Extra reps are great. Undercounting reps, never okay.
Never good because of the penalty that was explained on the scorecard. Extra reps in a long workout like that is a smaller percentage of your total time. It's
exactly.
It's not that big of a deal. Well, I mean, every rep's important, but let's be honest, folks. It's not that big of a deal.
I mean, it's like 3 seconds, 3-4 seconds, whatever. In the first round of burpees, wasn't even upset because I wasn't too fatigued yet. If that happened in the last round of burpees, I may have just laid on the floor and not done anymore. But I broke everything up. When this first came out, Rick, I was annoyed that it was pull-ups. I was like, this is semifinals. Why aren't we getting higher skill, efforts here? And, for some, 90 feet of handstand walking is high skill.
Absolutely.
So you can either do handstand walks or you struggle with them. I don't think we need to test 300 feet of handstand walking, although, I mean, I love that, but I don't think we have to test that to find great athletes. I love that it was there. Because if you walk well on your handstands, it's just no big deal. If you struggle on handstands, it's going to slow you down. So it created an obstacle on a high skill side. And again, I was like, why pull-ups, not chest to bar? And then once we got into the workout, it was a capacity workout. So chest to bar, pull-ups, it doesn't matter. Pull-ups are just easy to judge. Chin goes over the bar. Chest to bar, maybe they're a little bit harder to see in a camera from a judge. So it just makes it more clear, maybe easier to judge. And it was plenty difficult enough. So all of my complaining about not being chest to bar, I take it back. Pull-ups were fine. They weren't easy. They weren't ridiculously hard. But on the third round, I had a breakup scheme of 12, 10, 8 on all the pull-ups. I was just like, that's just simple. Let's keep that heart rate under control. And my last set, I did not go 12, 10, 8 because I was tired. So I think I went 8, 8, 7 to, yeah.
And you
Yeah, I
know
was just
why?
tired.
Is you told me that, and sure enough, I told you my sets got bigger, and I was like,
Yep.
I got to 8, and I'm like, shit, that sounds familiar. All right, we're doing 8 again. Then got 7, 7.
8, 8, 7, 7. And you got to do weird math. And your judge can't count that way. So they're counting on a different rep scheme. But then you're doing math while you're doing pull-ups. You're like, okay, I'm done at rep 23. That's a 7. And then I got 7 more. So you're double checking your math while you're doing pull-ups. Tough workout. I think when it was all said and done, I was really, really grateful to be sub 14 on that one. I was just under 14. And there were the people that won that workout in my division actually were sub 13. And that's pretty amazing. There's some fast movers out there. And, really, I think the big difference for the most part was just
burpee.
Burpees. Your burpee cadence.
Cycle
burpees. You got 90 burpees.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because everybody was roughly
walking
off
of that.
They were walking on their hands roughly the same time speed, I should say.
Yep.
Pull-ups have, if you're doing sets, you're doing, toes to bar for those top athletes, the top 5 scores in that are pretty close. It was how quickly could you get up off the ground each time. Yeah.
Yes. And, I had a friend reach out to me and he said, he's 25. He tested all the workouts a day in advance for all of us. He would just kind of go do them and then let us know what they felt like. Really, it's always great to have a good kid like that. And, so Ethan, if you're listening, shout out to you, buddy. He suffered every day for us. But he just, it wasn't to give us timestamps, just to let us know how the workouts went. But he texted me today and said, hey, that was tough. I really think we need to do more burpees in combination with toes to bar in training. He follows Boulder Athlete as well. And I was like, good news, bro. Good news. It's coming. I mean, we actually already have it programmed next Friday. Before this came out, I was planning on that combination, but that combo is devastating to the core, Rick. I was sore Sunday. I did that workout Saturday. I was sore Sunday. Way more sore yesterday in my core. Today's Tuesday on recording. I'm still sore, but not as much. But man, that got my core something good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm a day behind you, and today, I'm still sore, but not nearly as bad. So also, I didn't go as fast as you. So there's a time lapse.
Honestly, look, if I can do what you're doing in 5 years, that's all we want to do. You're on my horizon. If I can stay in this game and keep qualifying for the CrossFit Games as an old man like you. Okay.
Yep. Oh, you got it.
Okay.
All right.
Event 4,
your turn.
Oh, event 4. That's right. Event 4. Okay.
Event 4.
So event 4, you start with 150 feet of single arm overhead walking lunge into 50 dumbbell snatches.
15 back.
15 down, 15 back. You do 10 lengths or you do 5 down and backs. That's how I counted it. Right into 50 dumbbell snatches, into 50 burpee box jump overs. This was the sprint workout. This was a sprint. It was pedal to the metal the entire time. And I'll say that my first effort through this one, I started with my left arm on the overhead walking lunge. I went 4 total lengths with my left arm, switched to my right arm for the next 6 lengths. My right arm is my dominant arm. It just feels better. That was fine. I could have done the whole thing with one arm, but the left arm starting was fine, then switch to the right arm. I found it curious, or it was challenging in 2 ways. One, it was very clear. You have to finish the lunge rep, second foot standing up tall before you turn around. So that was one thing to pay attention to.
Yep.
And then you turn around, and by like the 9th length, like I was actually pretty tired of the lunges. I felt it in my legs. I was straining.
Because I never practiced. Never that length. We did little parts of it, but by the end, you noticed you were lunging.
You noticed. Yeah, I was ready to be done with that. And I was immediately concerned about the box jump overs, given how my legs felt from the lunges. But then you go into the snatches and my legs were no longer an issue. It's just getting through dumbbell snatches. I went 50 unbroken, felt fine. Got annoying at like rep 40. And there were times in there where I felt like I needed to go faster. I felt like it was slow. So you're trying to push the pace at the same time, trying to make sure you've got good lockout, all that. Get over to the box jump overs, and I get going on the box jump overs, and I'm feeling pretty fatigued, but at rep like 30, I only have 20 left. So I turn on the jets.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you the whole story here, Rick. I've been telling you the whole story here. Turn on the jets, and I go, and 49, 50. I'm so excited with 50. I jump on the box. I jump off the box, land on the floor, stoked. And I'm like, oh shit, I jumped off the box. Yeah. So I go back over, I step over the box, and I re-jump over the box and step down. So one, it was a little silly because all I had to do was another box jump over and step down. But two, like 3 other people that already went that day, they're like, oh, I jumped off the box. Oh, I jumped off the box. So many people jump off the box at the end because in our minds, we always think the box jump over is done when we land
at the
on
top.
The box.
Yeah, it's not.
Always.
Yes.
But it's not. You step down. So I jumped off and I was like, well, you know what? If I get a 4-second penalty on that, I get a 4-second penalty. I'm going to take it. And here's the short version. I'm going to do a YouTube video about this. So stay tuned. It's probably going to come out tomorrow or the next day. But I knew I was going to redo this workout because it was the only workout I wanted to redo because I could. So on Sunday, I go in and just for funsies, I'm going to redo this workout. So I redo it. I'm going to beat my score. I'm on like the 45th box jump over, and I jump over. My feet stop working. I tip over the box. I land on all fours on the ground, and I just stay on the ground. I'm like, it doesn't matter, no big deal.
It's a great video clip to receive from you.
Yeah, it was. I just ate a yard sale. Yeah. But then I'll tell you what, Rick. I went back. I was reviewing my video from my first attempt, and my left arm is beautifully locked out. My right arm, just due to the camera angle, it looks a teeny little bit soft. It looks different than my left arm. And so I show my fellow athletes, I show Art, I show Patrick, I show a couple guys. I'm like, what do you think? They're like, that's fine. It's fine. Like literally where the camera is, right. It's an illusion based on the camera. I'm like, okay, okay. I show it to our head judge, Dave Hardy, and he's like, well, your arms look different. And I was like, enough said. I'm redoing it. I don't care. Like, look, my videos will be scrutinized. I'm not, I'm going to do it again. So, third attempt. And, now I'm really tired of walking lunges. I'm really tired of them.
I can't believe
but I do the walking lunges. I do the dumbbell snatches. I over accentuate my right arm. My left arm is just fine. My right arm, I'm just going to punch it so hard to ensure. And now I'm in my box jump overs and I'm going as fast as I can. I'm not going to beat my time. And on my 49th rep, I lose my balance and I jump off the box. I don't mean to, but both feet land on the floor at the same time. Unbelievable. But that's it. My judge no reps it. She gives a visual no rep. I do a box step over, box step over, box step over. So I ended up doing a total of 52 reps, -1 for the no rep. So I ended up doing 51 reps. We went back, video review. I watched it about 100 times and I counted my 50th, well, technically my 51st rep as my score. All that to say, Rick, I'm done with that workout. I've had it. It's enough. Three of them.
We're not going to see it anytime soon, are we?
No. As boulder athletes, we're never retesting it.
Yeah, we'll see parts of that, of course.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny because I said on workout 3, it's more about the grind, not necessarily specific execution moments. Workout 4 was all about perfect execution.
Yes.
You cannot mess up those lunges because if you're soft on lunges, you're going to get popped in video review. Okay. They're very clear about that. If you're soft with an overhead position on dumbbell snatches, it's really easy to see. Box jump overs. It says very clearly a box jump over is complete upon step down, and it doesn't say hop down, crawl down. Although you could hop over the box on the last. If you wanted to hop over the box, you were free to do that.
Correct. But that did mean you had no touching of the box at that point. That was
correct.
That was the thing. Well, I didn't go as fast as you. I had some times in mind in our age group that guys had texted me. So I was watching the clock, and I surprisingly felt very good on the dumbbell snatches. I don't like to ever do 50 unbroken. I didn't do it unbroken during that open workout that we had twice. They've always been a bugaboo of mine. But I was going along just fine. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Rep 40, I think, or 41. I just lost the handle.
Dropped it.
I know I would have completed all 50 unbroken, which is not that big of a deal, but for me it was. So I just grabbed it, pulled it back, and then my judge, thank you very much, knew what hand had completed it, told me what hand to start with, and I picked it up with that hand. I went back and watched that video. It was 6 seconds. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not. But because I got to the box and my legs were absolute dead weight. And as much as the excitement getting to, like, say, rep 30 or 35, like you said, you picked it up. Mentally, I picked it up. Like, oh, I'm going to finish this. This is great. This is no problem. I just couldn't go. My cycle time just couldn't go faster.
Yes.
I got done. Like, it was a competitive score, but how some of those guys went 40 seconds faster than me.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow, holy cow, guys.
Well, we had a 40 plus athlete do his workouts with us, and he set the time to beat sub 5 minutes, and I couldn't beat him. I mean, he was just a little faster on everything, and it was really frustrating because I tried to go faster, I just couldn't. I also did that exact same thing with the dumbbell. It was like the 7th rep on that last attempt. Missed it, slipped it. My judge was very clear on which hand to pick up next, and she was on it on that because I actually fumbled the dumbbell on my 2nd attempt as well, and she was worried about which hand I picked it up with, and so she had me do an extra rep on that particular attempt. So again, having a judge that is attentive to detail is so great, and if she's unsure, if she's not completely sure, so she had me do the extra rep for insurance. On the 2nd time I did it, she was very clear which hand was next, and was, it was just great. And when you have this, like, when you're working with a judge and they're just on it, they're on it, and they've worked with you like through all of this, it's really cool. So she had judged me on all 5 events plus 2 additional retests, because after a few events, a few of them, like, well, no one else has judged me. Becca, come on, we're doing another one. We're doing it again.
I was going to say, she's probably enjoying a nice quiet lunch somewhere, and she hears her name getting yelled, and you're well, like, she was her over.
It was fun. I could tell her afterwards. I'm like, hey, Becca, thank you for all your help. We may have won semifinals. Yeah, it's unofficial, but I think we won it. The videos are good. So
before we move to event 5, speaking of the times, and Hiller already posted this. Look at male 35 to 39, the gentleman who won workout 4, unofficially, of course, Nicholas Anapolsky from Canada.
He was brilliant.
Brilliant box jump overs. 342 with an incredible technique that apparently is allowed by the rules because there was a step down, but it is the most creative step down I think I've seen. And he went 342 on workout 4.
I mean,
that
first of all, he's an insane athlete. I mean, he incredible athlete, just on that note, just to be that fast. But his technique, if you were to visualize this, he jumps with 2 feet, 1 foot touches the box, the 2nd foot is stepping down, and it's beautiful. When I saw that, I was like, how in the history of CrossFit have we not figured this out? It's taken all these years for one guy to do it, and I guarantee this is how we do box jumps forever now, unless CrossFit changes that rule, because it's brilliant. Or I haven't tried it, but I certainly want to try it. And if that's a way to do them, and it's legal, it's sort of like probably the first time butterfly pull-ups showed up. They're like, is this even legal? Should we do this? But technically, it's a pull-up. I'm curious to see if that holds, and then if we all just start doing these funky, weird box jump overs.
I would certainly have to practice that. Okay, event 5. I think it's your
event 5. It is my turn. Okay, so event 5. Is it? No, it is you. It's you.
Yeah, sorry, I'm on numbers. Okay, event 5, Heavy Isabelle. a theme that was through the in-person, I don't know what you call them, qualifying events for the individuals. When this was released last Tuesday, we got a version of Heavy Isabelle. As you know, it's 225 and 155 for standard Heavy Isabelle, but for age group athletes, it was scaled from down there. I think it was appropriately scaled for our age group in that it turned out to be a sprint. As the weights were heavier for both, like say 35 and even your age group, it was a significantly heavier barbell. So it became a little bit more about execution and not just grip it and rip it. I made it through. Form got a little sketchy at the end, but you stand them up, you lock them out. It still counts up there. And, it went better than I thought it would, given the issues I've had with the shoulder lately. I was very pleased with how that ended up. How about your experience?
Well, one, I gotta, give you a pat on the back that it is really, really fun. And I had this experience as well. When a heavy barbell workout goes better than you thought it would, it feels so good to complete something like that and have it go really well. So good for you. I had a similar experience. I was fairly intimidated by the 185-pound barbell for this one. That's a heavy snatch for me, both squat and power snatch. My power snatch 1 rep max is all time 210. That was in competition. But I think that the only time I've ever hit 205 was in that same competition. Then I hit 210 in that competition. So I've never hit that in training. If I hit like 190 in training, it's huge as a power snatch. So to have 185, I'm always, we don't test, we don't get that heavy that often because I don't know what percentage it is, but it's like 87, 90% of my 1 rep max. Mm-hmm. And then to do that 30 times, but we go 3, 2, 1, go. And, my plan was to be about every 10 seconds on the snatches. But at the same time, just kind of, I wanted to push that a little bit for the first 10 snatches, see if I could go a little faster than every 10 seconds to buy myself a little bit of extra time, maybe some insurance. My goal was sub 5 minutes, and every 10 seconds is a 5-minute workout. But if I bought myself some time, if I got tired towards the end, I could take some extra time. That was my whole thought process. But I got through the 10, maybe it was every 7 or 8 seconds, maybe a little less than that. And it felt pretty good. So I just thought, well, I'll just hold this cadence for as long as I can. And I held that cadence for 27, 28 reps. It was amazing. I was so excited. I was watching the clock thinking, if I only have 6 reps left, when I get to the 3-minute mark, I could go sub 4 on this. And I was there. That's what my
sub 4.
My cadence was there. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. So excited. I took 2 extra breaths before my last 2 reps. I finished that last rep at 345, I believe. And I definitely did a slam dunk with the barbell. If that's what we call that, when you're excited and you just, you
as long as it's
the floor
locked
with
out,
your barbell.
Bang. Yes.
Yeah, I locked it out and I slammed it. I was so excited. I turned around. I gave like a fist thump or fist shake. And then I took a knee because I was pretty tired. The wave of exhaustion came about 15 seconds after the effort. It was like, oh, we are tired. Okay. So took a knee.
Yeah.
For me, it was my proudest event. I took first in event 1. I took third in this event. And for me to take third in a weightlifting event is kind of like me, winning an open water swim event. It's one of the scarier things. It's something that really challenging for me, but third in a weightlifting event at 49 in an age group full of beefcakes. And I'd say that as a compliment. There are very strong people in this age group. So the fact that I was in the mix, man, I couldn't have been more proud. I know I didn't know if that was a great time or not. But it was a good enough time. I don't think I could go faster, but it was a huge boost of a confidence booster. I could say that. I was very happy. Watched all my reps. They're all fine. Like snatches are actually pretty easy. Unless you're just egregious or you don't lock out, I don't know.
Right. I think given the weight of, if it were lighter, you might, and
Yeah.
you're moving the barbell that much faster, that would be cause
Yeah.
for concern in terms of lockouts. I think everybody, the videos that I've watched so far are very clear in, hey, I got the snatch to this position. I'm not going to drop it till I hear 12 drop, something like that. I will say this before we talk about our next subject of video review.
Yeah.
For those that had either asked or were wondering, confirmed again, the team that is running the age group games, the three gentlemen, they did not program semifinals. This was entirely on HQ. To just clear that up, because there was some talk, why didn't we do this or that? I'll blame Bob and Joe. That's not the case. They had nothing to do with it. They are programming the age group games. Now, wouldn't it be something interesting if we see Heavy Grace as our weightlifting event at the games? Heavy
that'd be
Grace,
awesome.
given our age groups and loading and like that, just because you can run multiple heats. It's a nice test, nice shorter time frame test, run everybody through, and people are moving a heavy barbell, which then we know Bob really likes. So that I'll put out there as a first guess.
Another thing that I really liked was that we saw Heavy Isabelle at the Baham Classic. So it was fun to see, the individual athletes throwing down, at a weight that's appropriate for their age group as well.
Right.
So I thought that was really fun that we did Heavy Isabelle, they did Heavy Isabelle. And I know that Fittest, I don't know if all semifinals are doing Heavy Isabelle, but I loved that there was some cohesiveness there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I bet the in-affiliate indie semifinals should plan on that. They should probably be practicing that.
Correct.
Yep.
So we've moved on from our 5 events and our experiences. I think since we're in the middle of the video review period, if we'd like to maybe just touch on a couple of points and
probably should
wrap it up.
So it's day 2 of the video review process, and I think that there was there was some critiques about this overall semifinals process, in the sense that there was almost this overkill of correction. So last year, where we felt like there really wasn't much video review, we felt like there wasn't enough video review, and that the judging process was not as thorough last year. The pendulum was swung all the way the other direction, to where this year you had to have an L1 head judge, an L1 floor judge. They have to go through 2 judges courses in order to judge you. And then beyond that, you have this online video review process where anyone, not just L1s, not the advanced judges, just anyone who has completed the judges course can now watch a video, provide one of 3 options: good video, needs review, and what's the third one?
I'm looking right now.
Like unacceptable or video rejected or something like that.
We're starting recording again, so make a note there. I'm sorry. Just got a call.
Okay. That happens sometimes. Little technical glitch. But the third one, the video is rejected because the person's not in the video. It's the wrong video, or
it's oriented the wrong way. It's too blurry for whatever reason. Yes.
Yep. So now, now we're in the video review process, and so this is a third layer of judging these athletes, us, and there was plenty of critiques, some fairly valid, about the efforts it takes to complete your semifinals. Like, you traveled to Chicago, we had athletes travel hundreds of miles to come to us. We had our head judge travel, an 8-hour drive to spend a week with us. We covered all of his expenses in order to make sure we have, we've got Dave Hardy as our head judge, make sure it's truly a professional environment. So we love all of that. We love the legitimacy of all of that. Now we're in the video review process, and we're finding out that there are some feedback. There's some feedback that I'm getting, which I shared on Instagram. And I would love to say that these were mine. No, these were pieces that were feedback to me. So I'll share with you, Rick, the feedback that I got.
Please.
It's 7 bullet points at this point, plus a really nice comment from someone. So the first is that, 1, there's no comment or drop down to identify violations for HQ, which means if the HQ has to review the entire video to determine what's wrong. So if someone selects needs review, it'd be really cool to say needs review only did 38 reps. Right? You just type in there
soft elbows or something like that. Yeah.
Something. Needs review is a blanket statement, and there's no specificity there. Second, we can't see who's marking videos. So we can't really spot any patterns. So for example, I'm just going to say that. 3, some athletes use friends or judges to pre-populate good reviews, right at the start, which might discourage others from watching and critiquing those videos. So this was something that I heard this as well, that a group that did all of their stuff together went out and they all gave thumbs up on all of each other's videos to create the momentum of good reviews, regardless of watching them. So there's that. There are reports of organized networks downvoting other competitors. So this is kind of like when when someone sends a message says like, "Hey, we're trying to be top of the town restaurant. Will you give us a vote?"
Absolutely.
Right? So
that's what I thought of. Athlete of the week. Please vote for my nephew. Something like that. Bingo.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And so like, hey, Rick, what's great is you have not asked me to mark good on your videos. I have not asked you to mark good on my videos. I will review your videos because you're my friend, and I will give you the thumbs up or needs review. I would love for you to do that for me as well as a fair thing. I'm not worried about my videos getting reviewed by HQ. It's fine if they need to get reviewed. Anyway, scores at the top and the bottom of the qualifying spots are getting reviewed way more than those in the middle of the leaderboard. So videos are being judged incorrectly. And that is why I tested workout 4 3 times. I was like, if I'm towards the top, I will be scrutinized. So I'm going to make sure this is right. So we've got this scrutiny at the top. You've got the top 5 athletes getting hammered. And by saying getting hammered, if video review is necessary, fine, totally fine. But there's way more voting going on at the top. There's also way more voting going on around the cut line, because if you're just outside the cut line and you've got lots of friends that have their advanced judges course, and really anybody could have done that. Anyone who judged at the Open should have advanced judges course. No, not the advanced, just the judges course.
Just the judges course, correct.
Yeah. They could help downvote one person and try to get someone off the cut line into the games. Third, if penalties are applied, they'd likely hit the top and bottom scores harder, while questionable reps in the middle might slip through without getting the same scrutiny. I would also argue that if in our division where the top 30 are going, if 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 are being scrutinized, so should 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, right?
Right. Correct.
Very much should be scrutinized if that's the case. Number 6, and this is the big one. You don't even have to watch the video to submit a judgment on it.
Huge mistake from the IT group. Absolutely. I don't know how that's possible, how they fix that. Huge mistake there. Yeah.
Well, when you're doing a judges course, you cannot proceed without finishing a video.
Correct. Look,
now
I'll tell you, I just did the online level 1 recently, and I could not advance from segment to segment until the entire video played. Then they would ask me the questions. Where that differs from, I don't care who's listening to this, my online learning at work, all my training and stuff, it's as fast as you can get through that stuff quickly. And the memes are out there. But CrossFit had it right in their classes. But this is the miss. You want it to play.
This is the miss. Yes.
It's okay. So, if those other things are happening, like you said in your first few bullet points, okay, that's a problem in and of itself. But the fact that you can vote without playing the video, it just defeats everything.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just hold I mean, on a Mac, you just hold Command and click every video, and then just go through and reject every video or downvote every video if you wanted to.
Now,
Number 7.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You've got more.
I was
Okay.
going to say number 7, and then we'll get away from this list. Downvotes should be visible to HQ on the back end if they aren't already, or so to track for patterns. So hopefully HQ can see who is downvoting. That if I downvote your video, they can see that I downvoted 30 other videos and I'm being a total douche.
Yeah.
Lack of better words. But competitors judging each other isn't going to be fair. What we really need is a third party or HQ to handle that element there. Make downvotes public. So if I saw who was downvoting my videos, if that was public, you'd be much more careful about downvoting, without regarding a video, in my opinion, if it was public.
I'm sure they can see behind the scenes. Maybe
you'd think
from an
so.
IP address or something. I don't know.
I hope so. So I will say this: we sent that list to HQ already. The CrossFit Athlete Council, Age Group CrossFit Athlete Council, requested a meeting with HQ to discuss these 7. We know that there's more. I probably have 50 comments on there with additional elements, or additional thoughts. But
somebody's been busy today.
But we already got an email back. The council already got an email back from the representative that we contact at HQ, and they let us know that, generally speaking, these are topics that HQ has discussed and considered in this new system, and we will be told if they would like to have a meeting before the competition is resolved. Resolved. That's
okay.
So their answer is they thought of all this.
Okay.
Which is great if that's I'm sure that's true, I'm sure they've talked through all this, and they'll let us know if they'd like our input before the end of the competition. So what that tells me is we'll wait and see. I want to share this one other quote. I found this to be really powerful. Someone sent this to me, so they would like to be remain anonymous.
Sure. I have some, less than draconian things too to talk about this.
Someone said to me, people who have 2 levels of judging certification, who were there in person, moving around the room, changing angles, sacrificing their whole weekends, are being overruled by people with one view on a screen. And that is potentially one of the biggest challenges and flaws in this whole system. Correct. Now, of course, there can be in-person bad judging. You can have 2 friends doing this. That's fine. But for the most part, I think we all took it. I know that you had a team that was taking this very seriously, as were we. No one wants to be the judge that did not issue the no rep and then someone gets penalized. So I think everyone takes this stuff very seriously. We paid a significant amount to have someone come and be a head judge here. And when all that is said and done, this teeny little camera with someone on the other side is on their couch drinking a beer, clicking buttons on a screen. And that's aggravating. Okay, Rick, that was me. Share your thoughts.
Well, I'm just looking at this from an opportunity standpoint, and this was brought up by a good friend of the show, our Masters chatter, Mr. Kern. Look, I am a fan. I'm an athlete in this sport. I'm a fan of this sport. There's a lot of folks that I know in our age group and other age groups that I've competed with and against. There are some that I have not, and I'm always curious how they move. How do they go through workouts? Are they good quality movers? I have never had this opportunity to watch so many videos of people that I would like to. Okay, because as it was pointed out, Instagram is your Sports Center top 10 highlight reel. Here is somebody in the throes of event 3 dying on burpees. It's good to see. I spent some time judging yesterday, and yes, I looked at videos in our age group because I'm interested in it. Am I looking at older, younger, females, males and other age categories? Yes, but it doesn't. I'm doing it more out of interest than anything else. But I
Right.
think the ability to see your competitors compete on a screen when you can't see them normally, either because you're competing in the lane next to them and you're not watching them, you're trying to beat them. It's an opportunity. I mean, and then, but when all is said and done, and this was brought up too, we have jobs, we have responsibilities. Who has time to do all this? I mean, I was lucky I had a little bit of time yesterday. My week, as it gets busier and our deadline is Friday, I'm not gonna have time to go through all this. I mean, it's going to be up to the HQ and the internet gods. I don't know what's going to happen.
This is true. Last night it was about 9 o'clock when, oh no, 10 o'clock when was sitting in bed, had my iPad on my lap, and my wife was like, "Hey, you want to review some videos? It could be kind of fun." And I was like, "Man, I'm so tired. I don't have this, I don't have the mental energy right now
Props
to."
to Gina for saying that. Holy cow.
But I couldn't do it right then. So, but what I do want to do is I do want to devote about an hour a day for the next few days, to
Mhm.
go through and actually go ahead and do really. I feel like it's do my part as part of the community.
Sure.
Um,
That's the point.
and
That's the good point.
and I think that HQ, it'll be really curious to see how this actually plays out. I
Right.
don't know if they've saved themselves any work through having the community do some of this initial triage of judging.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be any videos that won't have a needs review clicked on them. I think every video, when it's all said and done, will end up having a needs review clicked. And then it's just a popularity contest on who has the most clicks.
Yeah.
Um,
Where do they draw the line?
yeah,
Because
seriously.
they can't watch everybody's video.
No. And if they had some wicked awesome technology behind the scenes where they could actually tell if someone watched a video and they could rule out anyone who didn't watch a video, if they had like algorithms behind the scenes doing all of this stuff, that'd be amazing. It would also be such a shocker that it would be that well thought out behind the scenes. But um right now we don't know, so we can't overly speculate on how they'll actually do this. All we do know is there's a deadline at the end of this
Right.
week for video review
Yep.
to be done from this perspective, and then they have a specific amount of time. What is it, April 21st, when the leaderboard is finalized?
I think so. Yes.
So that's
That's
a
14.
it's almost
What
2
is
weeks from today.
Right. Right.
13 days from today.
Oh,
Today is the 8th, so they've got some time, and hopefully they have some resources to devote to this. What I do know, I'll tell you this, Rick. One of the curious things was they didn't have drop downs for judges' names in the open. When you enter your score and you start to type in your judge's name, a drop down comes up. You select your judge, and
Right.
that's that. This time you had to type in two names. So this is how I discovered that Dave Hardy's last name is spelled with an I and an E.
Yes.
I didn't have any. So what I did is I actually went to the trainer directory to find out exactly how his name was spelled, copied and pasted it over, found out exactly how Rebecca, my judge, and she actually has a curious way if she spells her first and last name, copied and pasted that
Yep.
so that I would have them exactly matched. But I do know athletes that have gotten an email because
Oh.
a coach's name was auto-corrected.
Uh-huh.
And so autocorrect changed and other people have misspelled a coach's name. So CrossFit has sent out emails to people whose coach's name didn't match for whatever reason, didn't match the database or something. I was honestly, I was really afraid that that CrossFit was not going to check your judges, and that was going to be exceedingly aggravating given how challenging it was to find judges.
Correct. Yeah.
But apparently they are very, very much checking that the judges you put in your form
Correct.
have their L1,
Yeah.
have completed both of their advanced judges courses. So I will give CrossFit a thumbs up on
Yes.
being more thorough with that element than I initially thought when I was entering my score. So I don't know how they're doing that. I mean, literally, like that's just a big spell check. I mean, database they've got to be checking there, but okay, they're doing some work.
For the Masters community that might remember The Jerk with Steve Martin, it was great. And I felt like I was him when I went through the directory and found my name. I was like, I'm a somebody now.
Right.
It was great to see. And so, people, I believe the smaller fields showed those that were committed but then those that took the time to do all this. So if there is a spelling error, it's a spelling error or an autocorrect. It's not somebody fudging it. You know, the people that took this time, 125 or 30 per age group or whatever it was, certainly down from the original AGOQ, which I think was always about closer to 160 or something that would enter scores. Those are the people that paid their money, did their homework, got the right people in, add an affiliate, and care. And you let your
I mean, and you have to think about how, you know, not only you're right, they had to take it seriously. They also had to make sure that their judges had each paid $40 for the advanced judges course. This was no small feat in any way whatsoever. People that volunteered to help, they weren't just volunteering. It wasn't a $10 judges course. It was a $40 additional judges course.
Correct.
That was
now,
really more about
years, but
good for a couple of years, and not as relevant to qualifiers as it was to in-person competition.
Sure, I agree.
But you know, and I've got to think about how much investment affiliates made. And so you're right, when it comes down to it, a misspelling on someone's name,
that can be corrected.
Affiliates can help out with that. Yeah, it can be affected. You know, it's just, if anyone out there has that, just get with your affiliate, have your affiliate send an email, you know, just get all of those ducks in a row, get that over to HQ. Don't delay on any of that. Check your email constantly, see if you have an email from CrossFit. If there's ever an issue, they'll email you. And if you miss a deadline on that, you're SOL. So keep glancing at your emails. I'm hoping to that next week we'll see something from HQ with each one of the our workouts that says, you know, this workout has been validated or this workout has been validated. Those are really nice emails we've historically gotten.
Boy, I'm going to go after we're done recording. I'm going to go look for some emails just to make sure. I don't think I've looked at emails much today, personal emails. So I better go look.
Me too. Well, Rick, we have gone over, but I think it was important for us to cover the workouts, cover the video review, and I'm sure that we're going to have some stuff to talk about next week. Absolutely. When this is all said and done, and then probably the week after that, when actually the leaderboard is finalized, because we're in the middle of it right now. Our semifinal season isn't done for 2 more weeks,
not
even though the work is done. So
we also say pending video review, and guests are coming too. So if you've stayed listening this long, we will have more for you in future weeks. So thank you for putting up with us on your drive or your walk or whatever you're doing. You're still listening.
We appreciate you.
Great catching up with you. Congratulations again.
You too, Rick. See you in Columbus. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Thanks for tuning in to the Masters in Motion podcast. We'd be so grateful if you could take a moment to leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or your preferred podcast app. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us reach more listeners and grow our Masters community. Until next time, get bolder, not older.